Hi, today I will do a leak down test on my VVT engine. Stay tuned. I really hope you enjoy this kind of content, and if you do, consider to subscribe and activate the notifications. You can follow me also on Instagram and Facebook. I have the links here in the description. I post regular updates between the videos, mostly on Instagram. This is my 1.8 VVT engine that I started to disassemble in the last video. You can find the link for that video somewhere here on top. If you guys don't know, this is my 1.5 VVT that I will prepare to turbocharge and to put on my track car, my Mazda MX5. Today I will do a leak down test, and depending on the result I will proceed without open the engine, or I need to reevaluate the plan and adapt it depending on the results that I will find. This is the equipment I have to perform this test. It is a simple equipment. You have the adapters to thread in the spark plug connection. Then you have the hose adapter with a quick connector. And then here, in the gauges assembly, you have the other end of the quick connector, and you have a valve to modulate the amount of pressure that you put in. In this gauge here, we can see the pressure that we are applying, and this one is already modified, and instead of showing us the pressure also, it shows already the percentage of leakage, so the calculations are already done. There are some equipments like this, that you have two gauges with the pressure that you are applying, and the pressure that you have after the leaks, and you need to make the math. I have here now side by side the leak test and the compression tester. They intend to show us the status of the engine, but they are really different. With the compression tester, you need to crank the engine, so you need at least to have the flywheel and the starter attached to the engine. Then you can bypass all the systems and connect it directly with the battery and make the compression tester. The compression test. The principle to connect this on the engine is the same. You have the adapters to thread in the spark plug port. You have the hose with the quick connector, but in here you put directly the gauge on the quick connector, and then you crank the engine, and you can check the compression for each cylinder. The main difference between them is that with this test here, this is like a quick way to check if we have similar compression in all the cylinders. For experienced guys, by the value they can get and the engine they are working with, they can see and get some results. But if you don't have a base to compare, and if you don't know what you expect, with this test, you can only check if all the cylinders are roughly equal and the percentage of difference you have between them, but you cannot check nothing else. You can see if there's a catastrophic failure and you have like 0 or almost 0, or if they are reading a high value, you can only compare between the four, and if they are more or less similar, then you should be okay. The leak down test can tell you much more, because you can have the engine on the stand like I have now. You don't need to have the flywheel, you don't have to crank it, because you apply air pressure inside of the cylinder, and you can read how much it is escaping. It's normal to escape air. That's why the test, ideally the test is done with the warm engine, because the piston rings and all the stuff will be on the right size. They expand, and the gaps will be better. I don't have that possibility, of course. The engine is on stand, so I will do a cold leak down test. Maybe the leakage is a bit higher, but we will see. With this tester, you can open the water bottle, the expansion tank, right? You can pull up the dipstick. You can open the oil cap. In my case, that I have the exhaust manifold and the intake open, we have access directly to the valve. So when you have a leakage here, you can hear from where the air is coming. If you see the water bubbling on the expansion tank, so you have a leak in the head, for sure. The gasket in the head, it's bad. If you have air escaping for the intake side, so maybe the intake valves. For the exhaust side, the exhaust valve. So you can check a lot more stuff with the leak test that you cannot do with the compression test. That's why, first, because my engine is on the stand, I don't have the flywheel attached or the starter engine, I will do a leak down and see where we are. Here on the engine, we will start with the cylinder number 1. The engine must be always on the top dead center. The first one is easy. We can put it by the marks on the crank. Just rotate it until you have it here on the top dead center. Almost. So we are there. There's no need to remove the valve cover. I just remove it because I want to inspect the interior, I want to see how it is, and because I will proceed to paint the valve cover and I will replace the timing belt. So this is doable with the engine assembled. But if you have it open, like I have, at least on the MX5, it will be really easy to check when every cylinder is on the top dead center. If you see here the cams, when they are both horizontal and pointing out, they are on top dead center. So if you see, these are one down, one up. If I rotate it like this, more, I will now have both of them horizontal, so I know the cylinder number 2 is now on the top dead center. So this is one easy way to pinpoint where you are and to check where you are and to proceed. Another way, commonly used, you can use, for example, the dipstick. We have already the spark plugs removed. So you can put the dipstick on top and you can start to rotate the engine. And if you see, the dipstick will go down. I don't know. Oh, you are not seeing. Let me just adjust a little bit. Now. If I rotate the engine now, you will see the dipstick here moving up and down. So it is going up, up, up. We are now on top dead center. I will rotate it again for you to see. It will go down, go to the bottom, now go up again, up, down, and now check the position of the cams. When they are horizontal, we will be right on top, dead center on that cylinder. And the dipstick stop moving up. So we are right on the top dead center on cylinder number 3. So it will be really easy. I will leave it here on the 2 and I will put again this one on top dead center to test. With the cylinder number 1 on top dead center, we get the M14 adapter. We thread the adapter holes. Here we snug it really well because it has an O-ring. We can insert it and thread it in the spark plug connector. Just give it a push, so just to crash the O-ring, and you are now ready to pick the gauge assembly. And I will connect the shop air first, just to show you guys what I do. If you see now, we are in 0 and it is showing 100% leakage, it has no pressure. So we can open the valve and we start to tight it, and you see the pressure is rising and that one is already moving. We have a high leakage area, a moderate area, a low, and then we have the set. The set interval is where we want to point this needle, and then we're gonna lock the tool so we can perform the test in all the 4 cylinders with the set pressure equal for all of them. This test should be done around 100 psi, 7 bar. It's the limit and it is where it works well. It starts roughly on 92, the set area, but I will crank it a little bit more and I will put it right in the middle of the set interval. Now I will block the valve and we are ready to start the test. To start the test, I just simply need to connect the quick connector here and now I can see the leakage I have on my cylinder, that it is less than 10%. So the cylinder number 1 is really, really nice. Let's go now to the cylinder number 2. We need to disconnect the air. We still have our gauge on the set position. We put it aside and we prepare the next cylinder to be on the top dead center. This one, we prepare it to be on the top dead center. It should be here. And now we move the adapter and the hose to the cylinder number 2. It's possible when you do this that if you are not exactly on the top dead center, and because we don't have the spark plugs in, when you apply pressure, if the piston is in a point that the pressure can rotate the engine, it will rotate. So you must be careful and trying to fine-tune it as better as possible on the top dead center. Let's connect this one. And in here, cylinder number 2, with the same set pressure, you have a much higher leakage that you need to investigate where it came from. So we are here around 35% of leakage. It's inside of the low leakage area, but I think it's too much and it's a really big difference for the first one. I don't believe it's a catastrophic failure on the cylinder, but we need to check where the leakage is. We can start to... Oh, clearly. On the exhaust side, let's see if you can hear. I will put the microphone closer. When I take the paper, so clearly we have a big leak on the exhaust side. Let me check now the intake. Well, in the intake, nothing. So, for sure, we have something to do here on the exhaust valves. Jump to cylinder number 3. On the cylinder number 3, we are right on about 15% of leakage. It's better, not as good as the number 1, but not as bad as the number 2. The cylinder number 4, we are also on around 15% leakage. This is considered normal because it is a cold engine. The number 1, it is really tight. I was expecting a little bit more. So the 3 and the 4, they are right about on the spec, because with a warm engine, it is normal to see a leakage between 5 and 10% in a good and healthy, freshly rebuilt engine. And we are now on the 15, so with a cold one, it's perfectly okay. Now with the test done, I unlock the tool, push it back to 0 to have it prepared for the next one. In my case, I could see clearly that the cylinder number 2 has a big leak on the exhaust side. So this is not exactly the result I was expecting. because I didn't want to open the engine and take the head out. But in the other way, it is good that it happened, because like this I will be able to clean the chambers inside, clean all the valves, clean all the stuff, and start with at least a clean engine. And I will be able to check the border of the pistons and to see if I can spot some clearly problem on the piston rings. In the next video, you will see me now removing the head and take it all apart to be cleaned and prepared to the next procedure to solve this exhaust leak. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this can be useful stuff for you. As usual, subscribe to the channel and comment below if you did already a leak down test and what was your result and how you did it, if it was just like me or if you have some other different procedure or trick that can help the people to check the result. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notifications and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. As I told you in the beginning of the video, I post regular updates on the stuff that I do around here in the shop between the videos. See you on the next one. Bye.